Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Dr. John Clayton at SUPRA Chiropractic, your Layton chiropractor here in Utah. So today I wanted to talk about some things that I've noticed throughout my time in practice, and basically what it is, it's old ways of doing chiropractic versus the new ways of doing chiropractic. And so I wanted to kind of throw some of these things out for you today, and I want to do 5 things, okay? So the first one is basically the treatment protocol for these chiropractors. So what I've noticed is that most of the time when you walk into a chiropractor, you'll see this as well, and let me know if this is what you've experienced for yourself, is that you'll go into the chiropractor, you'll lay down on the table, and then they do a couple pops up your back. They pop maybe a little bit in your neck back area, and then they flip you on each side, adjust, and then they adjust your neck, and then you're out the door. And so the term that we want to use for this, so that you know going forward, is flying 7. You basically get 7 adjustments. There's a few up your back, a couple, 2, 3 up your back, then 1 on each side, and then maybe 2 neck adjustments. So that's the flying 7. And that's good and dandy and everything, but is that really helping you out? Is that really being specific to what you need? Versus the new way of doing things, which is how specific of an adjustment do you need? And that's, maybe you don't need 3 up your back. Maybe you don't need 2 neck adjustments. Maybe you don't need both hips adjusted or low back areas adjusted. Maybe you need other parts of your body adjusted as well. And so that's something that I do each time I adjust someone, is I look at specifically what that person needs. And yeah, sometimes they do need that flying 7 adjustment, but usually there's always way more that they need beyond that. And the other thing I tell people is, when you walk into a chiropractic office, if you watch the person get adjusted before you and after you, do they get the exact same adjustment in the exact same areas that you do? And if so, what are you doing there? Okay, so reevaluate that and double check that next time you go to the chiropractor. The next thing I want to address is the treatment time. So when you go see that chiropractor, for that treatment time, is that you walk in there and you get that adjustment, because to adjust 7 things, to do that flying 7 adjustment, that takes maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes tops for some chiropractors. When you walk in there and you get that adjustment, are you out the door in 2 to 3 minutes? And if so, did everything feel good afterwards, and did it really work? Okay. When you got adjusted, did you get adjusted only where you said you had pain? Because that happens sometimes for some patients, is they'll walk in and say, my neck hurts and then my low back hurts. So those are the only areas that get adjusted and nothing else. And then you're out the door and, you're on your way. So what I do for that is, basically, if someone says, hey, I have neck pain, I'll say, maybe there's these other areas. So specifically for neck, I'll check the rib cage as well, because a lot of the muscles that hook in from the neck go into that rib cage area. So I'll address that as well, given that they're connected. So my treatment time usually is around 10 to 15 minutes, and sometimes even longer depending on what the patient needs. So the next one is treatment prescription. So basically, when you go see a chiropractor, the thing that scares, I think, a lot of people is they'll walk into a chiropractic office and they're scared that this chiropractor is going to say, you need to come in for 3 times a week for 4 weeks. That's kind of a general one. Or you need to come in for 6 months, and that's going to be maybe every week or so. Maybe it's just for a simple problem, low back pain or a neck pain, you cricked your neck. In my opinion, that's way too much treatment for really what you need. The goal is to basically get you out of pain so you can do what you need to do. Really what it comes down to is the only time when it's super necessary to actually prescribe that massive or even just a general treatment protocol, there's got to be reasoning behind it. You got to ask your doctor, why are you prescribing this much time when it should be a quick fix? And so for me, what I do is I like to see how it goes. My protocol that I've done so far is that I almost get people out of pain by their 4th visit, if that. And that's treating basically 1 time a week, because we go in so far in depth to what the patient needs that they resolve way quicker than getting adjusted just your spine and your neck 3 times a week. Really what it comes down to is you should only have a care plan when it's absolutely necessary. And probably the most important case when that is necessary is a car accident case. You need to come in all those times to prove that there's a problem, so that your insurance will recognize that you need to heal based on having a car accident. So the next thing I want to go over is adjustment style. A lot of times when you go see a chiropractor and I guess the big one is your neck. When you go to get your neck adjusted, the chiropractor will adjust your neck and maybe it won't pop or maybe it won't adjust or feel like it's in the right spot. And the chiropractor will say, well, it looks like it's not going to work today and we'll just try it next time. So come in tomorrow or come in the end of this week or whatnot. And the way that I address that is there are so many ways to adjust a neck, to adjust a low back, to adjust the upper back, any of that stuff. There's so many ways to do it. So is the chiropractor trying more ways, or are they just kind of giving up after doing the same thing over and over again and it maybe just never works out? So the way that I go about that is I usually say, okay, I have at least 4 different ways of adjusting that area. And if the one I usually use most doesn't work, I'll go to B, C, or D. And then the last thing I want to cover is the necessity for X-rays. Short and simple, if you go to a chiropractor that works on, let's say, the upper neck only, and they will say, based on my protocol, I have to take X-rays, and that makes sense. But someone who's just going in for a regular, appointment with almost no trauma to them, nothing, you maybe just slept wrong, and then they say, oh, I have to X-ray you because that's just how it is. So the way I go about that is when I sit down with the patient for the first time is I do a complete and full exam on that patient where I put my hands on them and feel what is going on. And that dictates if they need that X-ray or not. And based on their history as well. If they say, I got in a car accident, of course, I would love to take X-rays on you. If you just slept wrong, I probably don't need to take X-rays because there was no trauma that caused this problem. It was probably just a muscle imbalance, or you just popped the joint out and then we just got to put it back in. So if you have any questions more about anything that I've covered in this video, be sure to let me know. And any comments or questions, post them in the comments below. And feel free to check our other videos. Any questions that you do have, we can make future videos on them and go over them more in depth for you. And always be sure to be happy, get adjusted, and live healthy. This is Dr. John Clayton, your Layton chiropractor here in Utah.